When your nervous system starts regulating because you've started to abandon yourself to divine providence, or you're seeking to conform yourself with God's grace in your life, there are going to be a myriad of changes, one of which is your relationships. Now, for most of us, most of our lives, we've been living in a sort of cocoon. And inside this cocoon, we're being formed to be well-adjusted men and women who can get along based on the rules of society. And right from the beginning, you're told who you are. You're told what to think and what not to think, good thoughts and naughty thoughts. You're told how you should feel. Wow, you shouldn't feel that way. Or how do you feel about something? And then people want you to tell them, I'm happy, I'm excited, or something that fits the narrative. Or even what to do. You ought to do this, you ought to not do this. Go here, do this thing, stay away from this, don't do that thing. And all this is good because it helps us to get along in our society. But at a certain point in your life, generally speaking, it's for men in their 40s, but we've been seeing a lot more young men reach this point where they begin questioning everything. I mean, everything. And when you begin questioning, you can't help yourself but to begin to poke holes in all the things that we've taken for granted, even who you think you are. Inside that cocoon, most people stay stuck. They stay stuck in the comforting cloister of the cocoon that keeps them following the rules. And as a result, their life is usually very smooth. But that smoothness for most people is either interrupted by this call to adventure. Well, maybe there's something else out there. Maybe I'm more than what I've been told. Maybe I'm nothing like what the world has been telling me to be like. And when you begin to question and drop these basic assumptions about who you are and the rules of the world, you're literally being transformed by the renewing of your mind. A lot of times we go into this process of awakening like it's personal development, and we think we're going to start adding things to ourselves. We're going to start enhancing stuff about ourselves, and people are going to begin responding to us differently. People will like us more because we're more, spiritual. People are going to listen to us more because we have some sort of spiritual insight. And then we start to develop this spiritual ego, really expecting the world to conform around our new identity and to start reflecting back to us the things we've always prayed for and we've wanted. But the exact opposite actually happens because you start questioning what most people take for granted. And in that, an opening, a womb appears, an actual opportunity for rebirth manifests. And it's a lot like when you were a teenager. When you're young, you spend the first, say, 12, 13 years of your life being told what to do, being told what to think, being told where to go. You're under the law of your parents, of the school, of your teachers. But then inside, things change. It's very obvious and evident and perceptive. You can perceive it with the eye. The hair starts growing. Hair starts growing. Voice starts getting deeper. Things that were once interesting no longer interest you. Things that didn't used to interest you now all of a sudden are interesting you. So you go from being a child to this awkward place. This awkward place where I'm not so much a child anymore and I can't relate to the small children as I once did. But also, I'm not an adult yet and I don't know exactly which way to go. I really don't know what my path is. And I really am not prepared to have real relationships with adults because in a way I'm still very immature. This is where you'll find yourself in your relationships as you begin to abandon yourself to divine providence. There will be those people who are a part of a former life. And by, not because you're pushing them away, not because you're adding something to yourself, not because you're becoming better than them, but because you're beginning to transform on the inside, which allows you to see things differently on the outside, you no longer can relate to them, or better yet, they can no longer relate to you. Because the world is exactly the same. You've changed, just like the teenager. All the kids are still kids, all the adults are still adults. You now are in a transitory phase. And in that phase is pure confusion. You're not who you were, you're not who you're becoming. And people will start treating you differently. If we take it personally, we can allow the rejection of those who no longer understand us or no longer resonate with us to disturb us. And we can also let the confusion about what is coming, about who I'm becoming, about the new world I'm stepping into, keep us really confused, upset, and feeling unstable. But just like the teenager becomes the adult in time, you got to give yourself time. The only thing, let me point it out this way. That same maturation process from childhood to adulthood, how does that happen? Now, we already mentioned time, but let's talk about effort. What are you doing in order to make that change happen? Are you going increased testosterone body? Are you going hair, come out? No, you're not doing any of those things. It's all happening as a natural unfolding, a natural process in your body that you don't have to do anything about. As you stand in this spiritual adolescence, the same holds true. As you begin to see things, awareness is transformative in and of itself. There's a change that starts happening in you that you don't have to do anything about. Literally, you are being transformed by the renewal of your mind. People hear that and they think, well, I need to change my mind. I need to renew my mind. But the entire phrase, according to Paul in one of his epistles, is purely passive. You're being transformed by the renewing of your mind. And in that transitory place, you're going to be in a no man's land. So the most appropriate way to approach this situation where there is a transformation happening within, but the world without stays the same, and the world begins to clash with what's happening inside of us. How do we approach this? What do we do about this? How do we handle this? Number one is continue on your path of abandonment. Be abandoned to the opinions of your old friends. Be abandoned to what may be coming in the future. And be completely present with what God is doing in you right now. And it's not very confusing. I hate how spirituality and religion tends to be more complicated than it needs to be. There isn't a spiritual world and a material world as our dualistic mind likes to make it out to be. It's a helpful perspective at times, but it's not true at all. There's only one power, there's only one world, and all of creation is an emanation of God's production. So if you want to know God's will for your life, look at your surroundings. Seek first his kingdom, and then all of the right things will be added to you. Not the things that your ego believes, not the things that social media has told you that you want, not the things that the music has seduced you into chasing. But the very thing that you need for your soul's growth will be presented to you on his time. And that's the important distinction. This process requires abandonment and patience. And patience is just perpetual abandonment. Wait, wait, wait and see. And before you know it, by and by, you will be who you've always meant to be. No effort of your own, and completely free from the opinions of other people. You will be like a breath of fresh air in a world of stale, recycled air conditioning breath inside a stuffy apartment building. You will be like a breath of fresh air that comes in. And that breath of fresh air doesn't come to take away anything. It comes to give breath, give inspiration, give life, give love, even to those who don't understand you. Done.